friends, here it is. The Saturday morning live stream. You got to tell me, how is the microphone? Is it audible? I'm inside of a room that is a little bit, has doesn't have like sound deadening material, but I'm trying because I am in Chattanooga, Tennessee right now. So let me know how it sounds. Okay, just me. Who are you? Good to see you here, my friend. Hey, I should let you know I'm in your house right now. So this is your beautiful family behind me. So yes, my friends. Okay, Ms. T says greetings and high vibrations and strong positive energy, fellow Viking gardeners. May we all be well, healthy, and peaceful. Yes, those are the kind of vibes that we need and want. So we got a lot to talk about today, my friends. Val, good morning. She says, good morning, Nate and friends. Ursula, hello, my friend. Hope you're getting ready for the master cleanse. When I come back, we're doing the cleanse. Taida, hello, my friend. Fertile Pharmacy, hello. Leslie Spites, good morning. Ms. P, hello, my friend. Clem Fandango, good to see you here. Ingrid Kitchen, all right. You guys, if you're listening in, let me know where you're listening from, okay? You can just say hello from wherever it is. Steve Johnson says, hello from Chattanooga. I'm in Chattanooga right now, kind of. We're outside. We're like in Cleveland. Gloria B, greetings from Central Florida. First time here. Well, welcome, my friend. Glad to have you here. This is a gardening community full of positive energy, and we share knowledge and all kinds of good stuff. So you are welcome to be here. Nathaniel Anderson, hey, Nate from Vancouver, BC. Mick Hegarty, what's up, my friend? Good morning from Colorado. Vera says hello from Belgium. All right. Cleveland, Tennessee. Yes. Dave says hello. Glad to be here live with you. All right, my friend. Yeah, guys, we're approaching the last frost dates for everywhere where we're at. We're in Chattanooga right now. It's pretty much the last frost date, give or take. So now we are installing the gardens and we are getting everything planted. It is totally go time. And this, yes, Ms. P still have the beard. Yeah, until when I get back, I'm gonna do the master cleanse, and then after that, it's all coming off. You guys ain't even gonna recognize me. You're gonna see the live stream and say, wait a second, where is Nate? Yeah, it'll be different. Trinity County, California. All right, yes, in the triangle. Off-grid grandma, hello from Central Oregon. Zone 3. Wow, it gets cold up there. Yes, greeting from Florida. Pick some zucchini and sweet bell peppers this week. Tomatoes and potatoes coming soon. Man, you guys got such a different season than us. Yeah, completely different. If you're already picking that stuff, that is lovely. So, let's see. What are we doing right now? Before I left in zone 5B, 6A, and I was planting the onions. So I don't know if you follow the Garden Like a Viking Instagram account, but I make little shorts and stuff where I am posting things like how I plant the onions. I think I also posted it on the YouTube channel, but I've been away from my computer, so it's I'm not able to like reply to the comments and all that stuff for like the past 2 days I've been down here in Tennessee. But yeah, so before I left, I was planting the onions. We got those into the ground. And if you watch the short, I like to do the board method because it keeps everything nice and it keeps them like above ground, right where we want it. Ignore, let's see. It keeps everything like right kind of above ground where we want it. Because guys, when you plant your onions, one of the biggest pitfalls that people run into is that they want to plant them too deep. They want to plant so the onion, when the onion is growing, it should be such that it looks as though you just took the onion and it's sitting on top of the earth. That's pretty much how it needs to look. And so if you bury the onion too deep, what's going to happen is that it can't expand. And so you'll see some people, they'll go around and they'll kind of dig some of the soil away around it. But you don't have to do that if you plant it in the right way. So you want to trim them to about 5 inches and then plant them out so that just about an inch of the actual stem part is buried. That's about it. And then as it grows, it's going to swell up and it's going to sit on top of the soil and it's going to look really crazy. And so but then the roots will go down into the earth. And onions are real picky, you know, to get good quality big onions, they can be really kind of finicky. So you want to make sure, but that's number one thing, is that planting them too deep. The second thing about onions is that people, is that they are not they do not compete very well at all. So the onions do not want to compete. They just grow straight up and they grow real sparse kind of foliage. The leaves are real delicate. I mean, they're real thin. They don't shade out the earth and they don't block out the weeds, but they also do not compete well with weeds. So you have to understand that if you want good quality onions, you got to mitigate the weed pressure in some way because they do not compete and they don't shade out. It's not like collard greens or Swiss chard. Collard greens will grow up and the leaves get so big and so that they will totally block all sunlight from underneath of them. And they can kind of keep stuff from growing up very well. But onions are not like that, okay? Neither is ginger. Onions and ginger are not like that. Let's see. Anita says, happy to see your working hands. Oh, yes, definitely. Man, we've been working real hard the past couple of days. Yesterday in particular, nice night. It's really nice kind of work though, you know, because I used to do this stuff all the time when I was living in the mountains and stuff, but then I came back to my hometown and I'm sort of in the city now, and it's like, you know, you're not doing this stuff every day, but it's really nice to be back out in the mountain sort of area with the clear air and the water and the sunshine and all of the birds and the people around here, especially the people I'm staying with, are just a really phenomenal family. And so, yeah, it's just a wonderful time, man, wonderful time. And when you're working like that, it doesn't even feel like work. It's like, because you know it's for a good purpose, it's for a good cause, and it just feels right. So it's not like, oh no, we got to do all this work. It's like, no, it's totally energizing and motivating. And that's the kind of stuff I love to do. And let's see, Val says, if we have a frost, will it kill the onion? Absolutely not. Guys, onions are one of the hardiest of all plants. They can take down to 15 degrees, and this is my experience. They can take down to 15 degrees here and there. But yeah, so you can plant them out right now. They will laugh at a frost. Yeah, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm not sure what tea. Ooh, it's got the good honey in it. I'm not sure what tea this is. Jenny just made it for me. She's down here with me. Yes, traveling down here together. And let's see. Maggie says, I have volunteer red onions in my garden. Should I just leave them alone? Volunteer red onions, really? Okay. Bulbing onions? So yeah, you should leave them alone. If you want onions, you should leave them alone, but thin them out a little bit, because typically the onion flower will fall and they'll grow so close together that you'll only get tiny little onions. But if you want them to grow into full-size, good quality onions, you want to pick them so that they're about a hand width apart. Okay, you need to put them about a hand width apart, and then they're going to be able to grow to full size. Yes. But yeah, definitely leave them. Ms. P, $5. Thank you very much for the tip, my friend. I appreciate you. Here for your nuggets of gardening wisdom, Nate. I never failed to learn something valuable from you. Thank you very much, my friend. That is what it's all about. And I love sharing the knowledge because it's taken me a lifetime to acquire a lot of this. And like I often say, you know, I spent so much time and still spend so much time observing other people, observing and asking questions and learning from them as well. And so it's wonderful to just be able to like have the information flow through you. That's what it's all about. Because nobody owns the information, you know, it's for everybody, the knowledge. Let's see here. Barbara says, yay, I caught the live. Hello. Yes, you did. Trish says, I was so impressed and in awe by the board method. It looks really tidy and aesthetically pleasing. Definitely, yes. The board method is very nice for the onions because you just put the two boards, guys. Watch the short that I made, or if you're part of the Instagram club, then I put it on Instagram as well. But I just lay the boards down and I only have about 2 inches in between them, and they're 2x6s is what I'm laying down. And then I have about a 2-inch gap in between the two boards. And then I take a stick and I dig a trough that's only just about 1 inch deep. That's it. We're just cultivating just the top inch or so. And then I go through and lay the onion transplants about 6 inches apart, 5 to 6 inches apart. It doesn't pay to crowd them, guys. It does. I know you think that you might want to get more in there, but it doesn't pay to crowd onions out. Okay, you want to give them the space. They're real delicate little things. But then I lay the onions out and then I pour compost. I pour some good quality compost in the trough, which fills up the trough, and then I water it in really good in between, you know, the compost. and that waters everything in really good. But what it also does is it helps the seedling to get established. But then once you after about a week to 2 weeks, okay, um, after that, then you take the boards off and you water it in good again, and those little trenches of compost kind of disperse. They dissolve a little bit, and so the onion is left at like a perfect height to the ground. Because remember, a minute ago I said the worst thing you can do to an onion is bury it too deep, and so this keeps us from doing that. And you can plant the whole bed like within a half hour instead of every little. Because I plant hundreds of onions. I mean, I love onions and I eat them every day, and so yes. So Nicole Wood on the fish fertilizer, the tub keeping falling out of the water. I always put rub back in. Is it still okay? Well, okay, I'm not sure I understand the question, Nicole Wood. On the fish fertilizer, the tub keeps falling out of the water. Oh, the tube. You mean the tube? Okay. Yeah, that a lot of people have asked about that. The whole reason that I put the airlock system on the yeah, I got you. The whole reason I put the airlock system onto the fermenting fish is to keep the smell away. Okay, it's not the kind. It's not like wine or something where you can't have any air get back in, where you don't want any oxygen to get back in. It doesn't matter, actually. We don't need that air tube. The reason I do it is because it releases the pressure and it keeps the lid from popping off due to the pressure. And it's something about it. Once the smell goes through that tube and through the water, you don't smell it. I mean, you can have a bucket of that fish fertilizer fermenting in your basement and you won't smell it. If you have that tube, if you have the airlock system. So that's why I do that. So no, it won't matter. Just put it back in. But you can also take like a water bottle and then with a hot nail bore a little hole in the cap and then stuff the tube into there, and then you can like tape it a little bit or something like that to keep it in there. That's a method as well that I've used. And Dave says, I made my first batch of labs. It started to smell like a solvent. What did I do wrong? Started to smell like a solvent. It smells kind of sour. It smells like feta cheese in a way, if you understand what that is. But like a solvent, it shouldn't be smelling like that. You're talking about like so we'll have to see. I would have to see how your the system of which you did it. If you followed everything right though, and it separated into the two, then everything should be fine. So maybe the rice wash wasn't fully matured yet. Vera says, hi Nate, do you have your fermenting fertilizer tub standing in the sun? I had to lift the lid of my JLF since it looked like it would be catapulted off any time. Yes, I have mine in the sun. I do. They're up against a fence line that runs north and south. So yes, they are in the sun. But that's what you want. You want to put the fertilizers and the microbial brews and all that stuff. You want to put them in the actual conditions that the plants are going to be experiencing. Okay. Look, I just want to show you real quick, even though it's not in camera. Look, the friends that we're staying with, she is so sweet and thoughtful that she made this little nice looking thing with the things that she canned and stuff. It's so cool. It's so nice of her. Even though you can't see them on camera right now, they're there. And the thought, the love is there. And that's what's just awesome. Let's see. Callie J from SAC says, lots of things have nutrients in them. Utilize what is close to you. Yes, that is the key. Utilize what you have. Danger Pigeon, make the hole slightly smaller than the tubing. That's right. And that will help to keep it plugged in there. Definitely. Maggie Smith, soldering iron comes in handy for that too. Yes, would be a good thing for a soldering iron. To put that hole in the top, no problem. Bart Benson, good morning from snowy Wyoming. You still got snow there, man. Really? Yeah, as we drove, it's about 8 hours from Indiana, northern Indiana, where we drove down from, and you could see it because I'm real in tune with all of that and observant of it all. You could just see every mile how much further along they are in the springtime until we're down here, and it looks like, it's spring, early summer looking. Compared to where we're at, man, it's still like winter, Let's see. Callie J from Stack says, smash the like button. That's right, my friends. Smash the like button. Pulverize the like button like a Viking. Ehab, hello Nate. I'm on my final days of the master cleanse. Tomorrow's orange juice day. All right, good job, my friend. I know how that can be. How many days did you do? The full 10? Wonderful. Yeah, as soon as we get back, I'm doing the master cleanse. And so it's the right time because I've been eating, kind of to cleanse out the stale energy of the wintertime that we've sort of acquired. And the toxin, sort of toxins, even though my diet's not toxic, still it's good to cleanse. But cleanse out the stale energy of the wintertime and then embrace the newness and freshness of the spring and the summer. And it's the perfect time because the garden has not started really yielding yet. Just the alliums, just like chives and onions, the Egyptian onions, and a couple of other things have come up, but not all that much. So like in another month or in 2 months from now, it'd be really tough to master cleanse because all this bounty will be coming from the land and I want to be eating it constantly. Mick says, we got snow last night also. Man, what elevation are you at? I know you're in Colorado. Methidicus says, morning from 40 mics west of Chicago. Miles west of Chicago. Been enjoying your videos. Out transplanting seedlings in the tunnel while I listen. All right, my man. Let me know if you have any questions. Let's see. Bart says, just a couple of inches. Yep. All right. All right. Selam says, hello, Nate. Happy New Year. Hello. Happy New Year, Nate. Yes. Is this the Thai New Year? Yeah, that's right. Songkran was April 13th, wasn't it? The water festival. Guys, when I was living in Thailand, Songkran was unbelievable. Everybody just throws water on each other. And so you kind of like drive around and everyone is just dumping water on each other, having water gun fights and stuff. So it's really a good time. Let's see. Ehab says, yes, 10 days. Also, I'm planning to go back to my normal eating habits after just 1 day of the veggie stew. Is that okay? Yeah, I mean, that's okay. You'll know. Like, listen to yourself. So you're going to have the orange juice, then the veggie stew, and then normal eating. So long as the normal eating isn't really toxic. Don't be having pizza and stuff, anything like that. That's going to be a problem, because your system is so clean and so pure. So you want to just ease into it. Just listen to the body. It'll know exactly what to do. 6,200 feet. Okay, so you're up good enough, yeah? Christine says, question, can I put dog? Yes, you can. Hold on, man, where'd it go? Okay, yes, dog manure you can put into the, I can't find it. Yes, you can use that, yes. But if you feed a toxic diet of cheap dog food and stuff with a bunch of chemicals in it. I mean, even guys, dog food can be really toxic stuff from the store, even if it claims that it's not. The dog food industry, I mean, you can look into it and stuff. I mean, they are putting, the lowest of the low into the dog food and stuff with other chemical things in it. So, if it smells super rancid, then you might not want to put it in there. But if you feed your dog like a raw diet, dog or cat, if you feed them a raw natural diet, yes, you definitely can use that. But you want to bury it. Yeah. Any of the meat eating animals, you would want to bury it. You wouldn't use it like you would the grass eating animals. Yeah. Because like horse and cow, you can just have that all up in the mix. It doesn't matter if your hands are really touching it and stuff. It's not the same. But like a meat eating animal, you want to bury it. So you're not touching it. Let's see. Bart says, grew up gardening with my dad, but learning lots from you, my friend. All right. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah. They have 6 kids here at this place. So there's all kinds of life and activity. It's just fantastic. Salam says, this is Biblical New Year, April 1st, but starts from March 15th. Okay. I was not aware of that. Nicole says, when you make raised bed, do you recommend to use the raised bed liner or not? If I do use a liner, what do you recommend to layer the bed? Soil, compost, tree branches, not sure. Okay, you want to make a raised bed. So this will depend on a couple of factors. One, what is your native soil like? So are you going to utilize the native soil? So ideally, like if we were to make one here, in Tennessee, they got pretty good soil here. From everything I see, they got pretty good combination of the sand, silt, and clay. and it's relatively fertile. So if you have usable native soil, then you only need a raised bed that's like 6 inches, and then because the plant, you're going to plant it, and the plant is going to grow down through that the mixture in the bed, and it's going to go into the earth, and that's what you really want. Okay, so you want the roots to go into the earth, and the raised bed is really going to make it like a almost just like mulch. So that's really the way to do it. But if you can't use your native soil, then you will, if it's like rocky or something like that, or you're doing it on a concrete slab or something, then you're going to want to make it much deeper, like 2 feet deep, and then you would put the liner in it and stuff like that. But pretty much always you don't want a liner in it. So let's see if you let's see here. Pretty much though, you don't want a liner in it, because you want the roots to go down through the earth, and you don't want if there's a liner in it, then it could pool up the water, and you don't want that as well. So I always recommend never to put a liner at the bottom of the raised bed. You don't need to. So if you're afraid of weeds growing up, then you can put cardboard down, and the roots of the plants can grow down through the cardboard. Once it gets wet and stuff can grow down through it, but things will not grow up through it. So yes, you can do that. Graham, what's up, my friend? So it says, hi, Nate. The JMS seems to be working again. I think it was because of the rain saturating everything. Would adding a liter of JMS to your JLS, you mean JLF or the JS? Is it the sulfur or the liquid fertilizer? And yeah, you could. I mean, adding some of it to it would be, but the JMS really is all about getting the largest diversity of microorganisms into the soil. And so we pretty much just JLF. Yeah, I see it. Okay. You can, but that leaf mold is going to already be in there, so what would be more beneficial is to just throw in another handful of leaf mold or so. So yeah, you can do that. But it's kind of redundant, because you've already got the leaf mold and all kinds of good stuff in there. Because remember, the JLFs, it's an anaerobic ferment for the most part, even though most of the microorganisms are not either completely aerobic or completely anaerobic. That is only the mind of man that thinks that it's black and white like that. So most of the microorganisms are facultative anaerobe or conditionally aerobic, so they can survive to varying degrees with or without the presence of oxygen. And so it's not like 100% anaerobic ferment. But anyways, what we do with those is that we put the plant material in there and the leaf mold and the microorganisms, and then that will break down, the microorganisms will break down all of the organic matter. And so you're going to see all kinds of bubbles or all kinds of molds or all kinds of larvae and all kinds of stuff. And it's going to break all that down to the point where once the food is consumed, then they will die. So there are plenty of, but when they die, that's going to leave behind the bodies of the microorganisms, and it's going to leave behind a rich source of plant available nutrients and things that can then be turned into more plant available. So yes, once everything starts like mostly decomposed, then the microorganisms sort of die back. So when you add more organic matter to the JLF, that is when you would add more leaf mold. And so those two at the same time, okay? Or you could add some of the JMS, but there's no need for it. Successful Garden Design, Rachel, 10 pounds sterling. Thank you very much for the tip, my friend. I appreciate you being here. She says, thanks for sharing the knowledge wherever you go. Oh, absolutely. Yes, I made sure. I said, okay, well, I got the live stream, always. That's so important to me to show up always when you've got like a schedule or something that you're gonna do. Because there's several times I could have just been like, oh, well, I'm gonna be doing this or that. I can't do the live stream. But for me, it just feels important, so yes, Jason Knight, quack is whack. Man, the quack grass, guys, if in the heavy mulch system and stuff, that is the mortal enemy. The quack grass, the rhizome type grass is just, man, It's difficult, guys, because you're eliminating all of the other competition for the quackgrass and stuff. And so, or also, some of you talk about Canadian thistle, right? That's also grows by rhizome. Underneath, it grows horizontally underneath the soil and underneath the mulch. And so that can really take over. That's like, you have to come up with things to mitigate that. Callie J says, have you ever used molasses or aloe vera? Oh, yes, definitely. I've used both extensively over the years for a number of things. And molasses, we don't really use all that much anymore, except when we're making like an aerated compost tea, if we're into that, or for certain types of things, or certain types of like fertilizers with cow manure and yeast and molasses. There's all kinds of different recipes, all kinds of different things that you can do. But only some of them we use. We don't want to overuse molasses in the garden. Okay. That's Justin says, Creepin' Charlie is also awful to get rid of. Man, I know. This is the first garden here in Indiana where I have had this Creepin' Charlie, and it is crazy how much I mean, it's like an ocean tide. It just comes in and takes over everything. Okay, it's crazy. But yeah, so I just have to tear it back, or I have to hit it with the blowtorch and all these different kind of things to make it, to kind of keep it in check. So Alexander says, is dry yeast good for plants? The only time, I will have to explain the recipe. This is a recipe that we use with cow manure and molasses and a little bit of yeast and a couple of other ingredients, and then we ferment it for a certain amount of time with an airlock on it. So, but that's a different thing. We haven't got into that yet on the channel and stuff, so don't even just pretend like I didn't say it. But that's the only time that we would use the yeast, and that's only to create the ferment that we want. Okay. Clem says, my yard has a ton of creeping Charlie. I put down 5 inches of wood chips on the back half of my yard, and that was the first stuff to pop up through. Oh, absolutely. It just loves it because it'll just climb right up through and then overtake it like a wave. Mama T says, what about aloe vera? Yes, I will show you guys how to make, I should have done it already, but I can show you how to make a lot of people want to use cinnamon on their garden. Or not on the garden, but on their seedlings. If they see the molds and stuff, the fungus, they'll put cinnamon on it, which that can work. But you can't grow cinnamon yourself for the most part. You can in the tropics. But what's even better is to make a solution out of the aloe vera, which I'll show you guys. I'll make a video as soon as I get back about that, I think. And so we make the solution out of the aloe and then we water it in, and that will really help to take care of a lot of the molds. And it also acts as a good rooting hormone. Aloe vera is a great rooting hormone. And Nate Caller says, bindweed is horrible. Man, bindweed, yeah, it's tough. Blue Wolf, we have aspen trees taking over the front yard. I mean, it could be worse. Aspen trees are kind of lovely, unless they're like invasive where you're at or something. Is there a need? Saeed says, is there a need to prune the peppers? So pruning peppers is, I've done it a number of different ways, and I have not found that much of difference as far as the pruned peppers and the non-pruned. The main difference is that the non-pruned pepper plant will get much bigger, taller. The pruned pepper plant will get bushier, but as far as numbers of peppers, I couldn't notice a difference. And I've done multiple side-by-side experiments with different strains, with poblanos, with Hungarian wax peppers, with cayennes and all that stuff, and I just haven't noticed a difference enough for it to be worth it. The only time that I do that is if for some reason something happened to my transplants and they are starting to flower too early. And so I'll pinch off the flowers so that it can, because I want it to focus more on establishing more vegetative growth before it starts to set too much fruit. And so I'll pinch off the flowers, but I won't pinch off the growing tips like you're talking about. Sir Richard says, hit that like button and share. Yes, my friend, thank you very much. I often forget to say that, yes. But you guys know the deal. You know what to do. And Ghost Dog, Creepin' Charlie is already 6 inches tall in Ontario, Canada, and our lawn's only greened up under a week ago. Man, yeah. The Creepin' Charlie is no joke. But it's only a problem if you're trying to keep it out. Otherwise, it's actually quite beautiful, and it makes a luscious, thick carpet. So, but if it's like in your garden, man, it can take over. And it's not a very good living mulch. I tried to let it go as like a living mulch and stuff, but it really just wants to strangle out everything and consume all the water. So yeah, what do you guys think? Is it going to be a hot, dry summer like last year? Because last year, man, was brutal in Indiana at least. We had 8 weeks or so with zero rain, and it was just blazing hot every day. And so that is not what we want this year. But whereas 2 years ago, or maybe it was 3 years ago, it was nice and it rained about every 3 to 4 days. We had a nice rain, and that is perfect. So let's hope that we have another season like that. But if not, we have to have measures in line to be able to water everything plenty. But if you deep mulch again, then it's not going to, you're not going to have to worry about watering so much. So you'll see, because I did it really to make an example of it this year for you guys, is I did deep mulch with leaves, 8 inches now, which it was like 2 feet, but it's compacted down to about 8 inches, 6 inches. And that can be a really good method. I'm hardly going to have to water at all. I'm going to hardly have to do anything because no matter what, even in the middle of a drought, you can go under that mulch and the stuff will be nice and cool and moist. Let's see. Did you see the tip? Off-Grid Grandma says, did you see the tip from Successful Garden Design above? Yes, I did. And I said, thank you very much, my friend, for the 10 pounds sterling. And she knows I appreciate her. Mighty Thor, that's a good name. Is there much you can do with wild mustard garlic? This grows a lot where I am. Wild mustard garlic. Do you mean like the wild garlic with the actual bulbils, with the actual bulbs? Because, or wild mustard. I don't know of a wild mustard garlic, but the wild garlic with the little bulbils and stuff, I eat that stuff. You don't even got to peel it. You don't got to do anything to it. You can just kind of put it in a mortar and pestle, smash it up, and put it and saute it and stuff. So yeah, definitely. RJ Aquaponics says, make Todd houses and they will take care of slugs. Oh yeah, there was a question about slugs. Let's see here. Yeah, there was like a question about slugs. But yeah, when I get back, I will be making you guys a video, the ultimate video about slugs and snails. Yeah. So get ready for that. Because some people have talked to me, have sent me messages and stuff like, man, I have such bad slugs that I'm not even going to have a harvest. And so they're just decimating everything. And that is unacceptable. That's unacceptable. So we have to bring out the heavy artillery. There's only one recipe that I use for slugs because nothing else I have found is effective. But this recipe is super effective. But you have to actually hit the creature with the solution. It has to get on them. I tried to make the video last year, but I went about it sort of in a wrong way. So I'll make it again this year in a different way. Let's see. Becky Knight says, how do you eat Swiss chard? Swiss chard is a good spinach substitute. So it tastes a lot like spinach. It has the same tenderness as spinach. At least the Vulcan Swiss chard does. And the best thing about the Swiss chard is that it does not bolt. Is that it doesn't. Spinach will just bolt immediately as soon as there's a big fluctuation between the high and the low. That's what signals spinach to bolt. It's not so much the hot, but it is. I mean, it is, but it's more the difference between the maximum and the minimum temperatures. And so once that gets to a certain point, it goes to seed. And the Swiss chard though will not do that. The Swiss chard will just remain nice, big, beautiful leaves all season long. The Vulcan Swiss chard is what I highly recommend. Now you can use it in any way that you do spinach. I like to do a, hey handsome, what's up my friend Sandy? So I like to do like an Indian dish with it, where I will cook lentils and then what were the lentils? Mung beans. I'll cook mung beans and then I'll put in the Swiss chard and then I'll kind of hit it with a masher and then I'll have that over rice, with a bunch of spices in it and stuff. All different kind of ways. I would love to make the cooking channel that we've been talking about, cooking like a Viking, but I just don't have the kitchen for it. It's my kitchen is just so small and it's so like it can't be right up on top of stuff with the camera, and you can't have shadows all over your stuff when you're trying to do a cooking, videos. So, Jason Knight says 22 with the scope. Oh yeah, Sir Richard says how to get rid of a groundhog. Yeah, definitely. That's pretty effective. The other ways, I don't know, guys. What do you give? What are some good ways that you think to get rid of the groundhog is? You definitely can do the you can try the bubblegum method. You could try the live cage trap method. You can. It's all about what works for you. But most effective of all is going to be the 22. Yeah, that's going to be very effective. So off grid grandma says regarding slugs. I went out at midnight with a jug of salt water and handpicked over 100 slugs. It really helped. Yes, that's really a good way to do it. Yeah. If you can handpick them and stuff and you got that and you're fine with that, then definitely. And salt water, takes them away right away. But if you didn't want to do that and if you have like a much bigger area, then the solution that I'll tell you guys in the video, you can just spray it over them and go back inside. Scorpio 1969, $20. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, thanks for sharing your knowledge. Fifth gardening. Maybe about gardening. In past, bought worms, teas, and fish, seaweed, fertilizer this year. Starting your methods and saving money on my second batch of labs. And yes, I love the teas. Man, that's what I love to hear. Making all the good ferments and stuff. It's a wonderful thing, guys. When you start to realize, like, wait a second, all these things I've been buying all these years, not only have I been spending money, that's one aspect about it, but the other aspect is that pretty much everything that you buy is going to be subpar compared to what you can make for yourself, for the most part. There are certain things commercially that are really nice, but that being said, it's just wonderful when the whole new world opens up about things that you can do, for yourself. It's really great. And the cheese, man, that cheese is blows people's mind a lot of time that it's like that easy to make because there's the two types, and I think I'll show the other type here probably at some point. But there's the type that you make with a coagulant, with like an acid, with like a either vinegar or lemon juice, or you can use what is the other thing, rennet. You can use these things, and it changes the pH of the milk solution so that all the milk protein solids coagulate. And it happens in like 10 minutes. I mean, it happens like right away. Then you strain it out through a cheesecloth, and that becomes a certain type of cheese. That's like paneer, or that's like cheese curds. But that's very different than the labs. The labs cheese is made in a similar way, except it is the microorganism activity that is going to change the pH and coagulate the milk solids. And so what you're left with is a cheese that is bursting with life, and the solution, the lactic acid solution, is also bursting with life. Because when you make the cheese curds with the acid method, that solution, everyone thinks it's the same, but it's nowhere near the same. It doesn't have any of the microorganisms that this other one had because they weren't allowed to culture. Even though the liquids seem the same, it came from the cheese making process and it looks cloudy and sort of yellow, but they're not. The one from the labs is bursting with life. The other one is not at all. So that's the difference. I get a lot of questions about that. And let's see. RJ says nothing worse than drunk slugs. Oh yeah, put out the beer traps. Everyone says that. Maybe you guys have had good success with that, but everyone's like, oh, just put out the beer trap. And I mean, what are you gonna have? 35 beer traps all over the garden and stuff. And I don't know. It's not for me. I prefer to just spray it on it and melt them. Yeah, because man, if you have a bad slug infestation, it can crush your soul, man. I mean, I have planted gardens and just been like, I mean, crushed on the inside because I was like, what is happening? Nothing is coming up and stuff. And so I spent so much time looking into it, and I was out there with headlamps in the middle of the night, and I was seeing actually things were coming up, but the slugs love, when a seedling is emerging, it loves to just chomp down that nice tender shoot. And it will do that. If you plant a whole row of peas, it will do that and just mow down like dozens of peas, the whole row of peas in one night. And so that you're like waiting for these peas to come up and you're like, man, I really hope they come up soon. You know, I want to have peas. But then you're like, oh, they don't come up. And so a lot of people think that, oh, the seeds were bad, they didn't sprout. But they actually did sprout. And they just got annihilated by the demonic slugs. Yeah. I mean, they're not really demonic, actually. They're really good. In the natural system, slugs are wonderful because they decompose things that earthworms don't. And so they decompose to it. They're as valuable to a natural system, sort of, as earthworms are, as far as decomposition and stuff. But it just so happens that they annihilate the plants that we are trying to grow. So, yeah. Sandy Nesta says, my soul has been crushed. Yes. Oh, man. So you must have some slug pressure. Sarah Ogden says, ducks are also supposed to be good slug control. Yes, I've heard this. Ducks can be really good slug control. However, how has anyone done this method? And how much damage do the ducks do to the plants? That's the thing. Because chickens might also do it, but they would destroy all the plants. So that's the thing. D. Wright says, is there a use for old, flat beer in the garden besides for slugs, as people are suggesting? You can dump it on the compost pile. I mean, how much? How much old? If it's like real beer that you brewed or something, then, I mean, it's gonna be full of some nutrients and stuff. You could put it on the soil and everything. I wouldn't put it in too high of concentrations because the alcohol content would kill some microorganisms. But yeah, you could definitely spray it on the compost pile. It's not a problem. Graham says, collect slugs in a bucket with a little green food and some water in it. Stir it every day. I know what you're going to say. Stir it every day. When the slugs die, about a week later, take the liquid from the bucket and dilute it, then spread about the garden. Yes. Has anyone done this and had a good effect? Has anyone done that? Because there's also the thing where you can find a slug that has been infected with a predatory nematode. And they are in nature from time to time, and they will die. But there's a certain thing you have to look for. And then you will take that slug, put it on a cabbage leaf floating in a certain solution. And when it dies, then you want to cultivate those nematodes. And then if you spray them, then the nematodes infect all of the slugs. Now, I just theoretically know about this. I don't know. I have not done it. So, Ruth in Gia in Georgia, Backyard Garden says, new here. Want to thank you for all the natural ways supporting real organic gardening and easy to follow. You are very welcome, Ruth. I'm happy that you are here. So yes, that's what it's all about. Nice, natural, easy ways. Because our ancestors, that's how it used to be. Everyone virtually used to be a farmer in the sense that you didn't outsource the most important thing in your life, which is the food. So you didn't outsource that. You did that here. And so that's what we have to move back to, is that more people are going to be doing the growing. And so that even if you don't grow everything, you can grow something, and you can subsidize your food intake and your food bill. Oh, look who just walked in the door over here. What are you doing?
Yeah, well, I was looking for you.
Yeah. Oh, she was looking for me?
For you. I was like, what?
No, I don't.
Where is he? Where's all the work?
Yeah, I don't think so, because I saw her over there sunbathing a minute ago.
Uh-huh.
And yeah.
No, I was working.
Yeah.
Working very
Guys,
hard.
we've been doing a serious project here. So the
Where to sit.
oh yeah. I
Let's
don't know
do
if that's
this.
gonna
That'll
be
be comfortable.
okay. Yeah, that'll be comfortable.
Hi.
Look who's here. Look at the cat dragged in. Yep, she's here as well. And we are getting the garden put in. And last year, and I've talked to you guys about some of this, is last year we came down here and we planted a cover crop into a couple of other areas as well, and a couple of new garden beds. And so yeah, this is Jenny, everyone, for all the new people. Yes,
Hi.
this is Jenny. And we came down here,
Aw.
and oh man, look at all
I
that
know,
love.
wow,
Yeah, goodness.
thank you.
I knew this was gonna happen. They're just gonna love you.
It's just this channel
Yeah,
takeover.
great. Why don't you sit over there?
Yeah, I already am.
Yeah, right.
Hey.
Yeah. Aw, hello, she's
Aw.
beautiful. Hello, so awesome to see you, Jenny. Hello, Freebird, good to see you there. Jenny from the block. That's right. That's right. So let's see. Okay, Wesley, what's up, my friend? Says finally got here for today's briefing. Woo, tuning in from the southeast Mississippi as usual. Man, it's probably already hot and humid there, isn't it? Yeah, because it's like a little bit hot for me today here. But yesterday was perfect Viking weather,
Oh
wasn't it?
man, you
Yeah.
loved it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was drizzly and miserable.
No, I
You
loved
loved
it.
it.
Yeah, it was like overcast and raining, but it was like, 50, 60 degrees, perfect
Because
for
he's
me.
delicate.
Yeah, well, some would say that's not delicate. Yeah, so you got anything useful to say?
Oh, we are having a great time here. No, I was listening to your slugs, talk about the slugs, and I remember he was like in combat mode out there with the headlamp, and he was like, because it did decimate like the whole first planting was like gone.
I never saw slug infestation that
I've
bad.
never seen him like
Yeah, I was
in my life. I was
just
like,
soul crushed. I had the whole garden planted from seed because when I was in
Yeah.
California, we could plant from seed more.
Yeah.
We planted everything mostly from seed, and it just grows differently there. But here, I was doing that, and I was like,
then
yeah.
he was like, then it was like on. He
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
oh no.
I was like, no, that's
He
not
was
gonna
like
happen.
out there.
Yeah, middle of the night with the
Diligent.
headlamp and
I was
stuff.
like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
He's like, looking for the slugs.
Spray bottles of this stuff. Yeah, out there. Yeah,
And he did. You won.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yep, definitely. Until now, it's all pretty much. But see, when you first start a garden,
It
that's
was out of balance.
it was out of balance. Exactly.
Yeah, the ecosystem was definitely out of balance, which we knew that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be.
Yep. Yeah, we knew that, but I didn't expect it to be
Little bit.
that much,
No.
And so, but then after a couple of years, the predatory things and the birds and the other insects and stuff, they come in, and it just kind of balances itself out more. And so, at those first couple years, it can be brutal, But now it's to the point I don't even have to use this slug solution anymore. I don't even have to worry about the slugs really, because I have had many of birds in the garden now, but with Shiva, she's not liking the birds. Sure.
I know, but there's no bunnies now either.
Yeah, there's no
'cause
bunnies
of
either.
Shiva.
Yeah.
There's always something. I mean, you're in nature. It's nice that all the things want to present themselves. But
Yeah.
the practicality of it when you're trying to grow food and only eat that, it's then, things have to happen.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, I just saw oh no, someone retracted. What does that mean when somebody retracts the question? I don't really even get it. But let's see. How am I gonna?
I don't know.
Can you guys hear everything all right? Because I don't want to keep putting my hand over here. Let's see. Somebody asked the question about mulch, taking away from the nitrogen. And that is really a big topic with people. It's a big topic with people, and it is way overstated. Okay, so like if you're putting down wood chips and stuff like that, it can draw. Okay, the decomposition of carbon takes nitrogen out of the soil because nitrogen is the fuel for the bacteria. That's why. And so, did you say something about? Okay, hear y'all well. Good. Okay. So the bacteria that break things down in a fast sort of way, their gasoline basically that fuels their engine of decomposition is the nitrogen. And so yes, it will temporarily pull nitrogen from other places, but only in the area where the mulch is actually touching, because it can't go way deep into the soil and pull nitrogen out of the soil. It doesn't work that way. So, but right there at that layer where the carbon, the mulch touches the soil, yes, it definitely can. And so what is most useful to do is to have a nitrogen source. You have to add a nitrogen source. So it can be the urine, it can be the fish fertilizer, it can be some of the, yeah, don't act like it.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, it can be any of the nitrogen sources or the grass JLF. You can add that to feed the bacteria that are going to decompose. Okay, because the fungi don't need the nitrogen so much to decompose, but they take way longer. Okay, that's a multi-year thing. But if you wanting, okay, here's the same person said, I read this week that the mulching reduces the nitrogen in the soil. This doesn't sound quite right to me. What are your views? Okay, so I hope you've been listening. So yes, those are the views. That it is overstated its importance, but it is real. It is a real thing, and it can happen. But this is why we never till in the carbon stuff to the soil. Because if you're tilling the mulch, or even if you work it in there, then it is going to be a problem because you're going to have that carbon material into the soil, and then it is going to pull out nitrogen, and you're going to have issues. You'll see that a lot with the back to Eden, guys. You'll see that that a lot of people with the back to Eden will they'll put down a bunch of mulch their very first year. They'll try to plant into it, and they're like, man, this isn't working, because the plants will be all yellow and kind of stunted and small. That is because they didn't have the time. So if you wanted to do the back to Eden method with the wood chips, you know what I'm talking about, right? Just deep layers of wood chips. You would get a bunch of wood chips, spread it all out, maybe put down cardboard, but if you put the wood chips thick enough, you won't have to. Spread it all out, and then in 2 years, you would come back and plant into there. Yeah, that's if you just left it. Then it would be rich soil, and from there on, it would be rich. Yes, Sandy, thank you, says hit the like button. But if you wanted to speed things up, you could lay out the mulch and then spray it with the nitrogen sources. So the urine, the fish fertilizer, the JLFs, any of that kind of stuff is going to supercharge. The labs, even though that's not nitrogen, it still's got the good decomposing bacteria. All those practices you can do. So, yes, that's right. Thank you from Northern Alberta. Thank you from Talkeetna, Alaska. Wow. I'm not sure what that is. Sandy says, coffee grounds are nitrogen. Yes, they are. Yes, they can be a source of nitrogen. You can make a tea with that and sort of spread it over the garden. That will help, definitely. Put wood chips in the walkways, not on the crops, right? Typically, that's the best, yeah. Although you can do them on the crops, but if you have to be cognizant of the nitrogen, source. Let's see here. Yes, you got anything? What are your aspirations? What are your goals this year for the garden?
Well, to grow as much. I mean, especially the what do you call them? The carbohydrate rich things.
Calorie
calorie
crops.
rich. Yeah, potatoes. They were so good. Sweet potatoes, squash, dried beans. Dried beans are on mine because mine fell down. They were so prolific, they just pulled the whole system down. So that's definitely this year to make sure that, because the dried beans are they're priceless, man, in your soups and stuff. So. Oh
yeah, and the dried beans that you grow yourself are way different than what is in the store. The taste is so much richer.
And I definitely growing the right cucumbers this year for pickling, because I ruined a ton. I mean, I kind of knew, but I thought I'll try it anyway. I'll see what happens, and I didn't have good luck. I had a few jars, but I want to be eating pickles. I love pickles all winter long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and she had it was kind of a tragedy last year because she just made a big batch of the pickles, and
beautiful.
Big. All kinds of good stuff in there.
Yeah. They were all mushy.
And they were all super mushy. Yeah, because they were not the pickling cucumbers. And she did a couple of other things. She didn't follow the directions based upon the video, not even close. So that's going to guarantee failure. So this year, maybe we'll have a one-on-one tutorial.
Yeah, you think. Well, we were rushed last year. Last year was just a big rush to get it in for life reasons. So.
Yep. Kim Williams, thanks for the info, Nate. Wishing you well from Tunisia. Hello. All right. Way out there.
Wow. It's so great.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's so great. We're just sitting here in Tennessee.
Tennessee in the mountains.
And you guys are all over the world. It's
all
so
over.
Great.
Yeah. Yep. RJ Aquaponics, wood chips is the same as biochar. I disagree big time. Disagree, my friend. Sorry. PA says, back to Eden is for trees and shrubs, guys. Fungal dominant environment. Veg does better in bacterial dominated environment, which is more compost. Yeah, generally, that can be true. Although you can totally grow vegetables in the back to Eden method if you're doing it right. But yeah, preferably it's for shrubs, perennials, trees, stuff like that. Yeah, because it is more fungally dominant. But you definitely can grow plenty of vegetables in that method as well. I know that for a fact. So can you charge your mulch like the biochar? Okay, kind of, yeah. Yeah, you could charge it like that. It's not really quite the same because it has to actively break down. But yeah, if you wanted to charge the mulch, you could. But really the best way is to use manures and then to use the leaves and stuff like that. If you have a big plethora of the mulch, then there's multiple different techniques that you can utilize, but it's going to all be about the same thing. Maybe even compost them a bit first. If you charge them and then soak them in like a manure tea and then compost them, sort of put them in a big pile and turn them a few times to get that breakdown started happening, yes, then that would be good because eventually it will turn into really good quality like soil. Okay. Leslie, hello, my friend. And let's see, Mama T says, will you make a video on dried beans? Oh man, guys, I'm going to be definitely making videos on beans and peas this year because I got the bean and pea sheller. It's a
game changer.
Oh man, game changer. I mean, without it, we wouldn't be.
Yeah, breaking every one of them. We were on the porch breaking every one open.
Yeah, and then after like 45 minutes or something, I was like, oh, how much we got? You know, oh, okay, that's like a 1 cup of soup or something.
If you got enough to take you through the winter, that's like.
Oh yeah, there's no way. No, we need at least like a 5-gallon bucket of condensed beans, you know, for the winter. Yeah. So I got the Taylor Manufacturing pea sheller. Yes, you can look it up. And it took me a minute to use it or to learn to use it. There's a trick to using it and stuff, and it still work, but it's totally way worth it. It's the only way that we'd be getting. You know, I did peas last fall, my fall peas, and was able to get like 10 large bags of peas that I put in the freezer. And so once you get the method, you just feeding them all through, and it just chink, 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 tons of them.
And so. I think it's one of those things that if you've got neighbors or whatever, you guys all chip in and get one.
Yeah.
Because why not? You know, you don't have to get everything. Just, you know.
Yeah, because the machine is like $700. But if you can go in and your neighbors and stuff like that, and you have, you know, multiple people that are going to use it, that can really help. Multiple families. But it's like a semi-industrial piece of equipment. I mean, it's like 35 pounds. It's made to last. They last a lifetime. So yes.
Yeah, not a complicated mechanical type thing, but.
Right, and it's made with industrial quality stuff. Here I sound like I'm endorsed by them, but I'm not.
I know.
You know, I'm just saying that it's the only way, because otherwise, it's either that way or you have like a family of like 6 people that are all going to sit there and shell them. Man,
cool too.
You know, which is super cool.
Tribal type village living.
Oh yeah, totally.
But it was just us.
Yep. Let's see. Railroaded says 114 likes and 166 in the chat. Come on, folks, share the love, grow those likes. That's right, my friends. Smash the like button. I just saw a like go away. It went from 115 to 114, and then up to 116. Yeah, what's going on? I know. That's why I can't even look at that stuff like that. Cause like, what did I say wrong? Oh no. Well, okay, come back. No, it doesn't matter at all. But you know what I do notice though, which is surprising to me, is that okay, so each video that you publish on YouTube, you can see all the analytics. You can see everything about it, and one of the analytics is how many subscribers you get based upon that video. So how many people watch that video, and then as they're watching it, click subscribe. That's pretty much what it does. And so like some of the fertilizer videos, like thousands of people, you know, and so some of the like the biochar I made, you know, like 800 people and stuff just off the one video in a week, just from that video. But from my live streams, I lose subscribers every time. It shows -5 subscribers every live stream. I lose subscribers. I know, which is crazy. It's so some people must just these videos must pop up on their feed, and they'll just go, oh, it's an hour and a half long. Click unsubscribe. You know, I don't. But we don't know. They're missing out, man. They're missing out. But that just blows my mind. So let's see here. How to grow a huge COC and then how to ride it correctly. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, my friend. Let's see. I see less expensive pea shellers on Amazon. What do you think? Yeah, you can, but you get what you pay for. And some of them that go like this, you can, that's going to be a lot of work. That's going to be a lot of work. And so, and the components, I just don't know. I just went right for the one that I saw was the good one, and it's going to last. All the reviews over the years are really positive, and this is going to last a lifetime. Okay. Taida, $5. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, glad I'm not missing out. That's right. Here you are. Yep. Guys, you can check out her Instagram account as well. She's a very talented henna artist.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And she's in Michigan. So a collab is possible. Yeah. Because she would definitely love some henna. That's right.
You could do my face.
Oh, yeah. She always wanted some good face
That'd
tats.
be cool.
Yeah, definitely.
For the Viking.
Yeah, it would. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rachel says, what? The lives are awesome. Yes, thank you, my friend. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I mean, but it takes a different kind of people. Yeah.
It's community, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely does. But one thing that I'm finding that is not really worth the time is making the shorts. I mean, I don't really get it because it hasn't got that many subscribers from the shorts, and the people that watch the shorts are just a different kind of people. They're the TikTok sort of crowd. I mean, a lot of you watch the shorts as well, but I'm saying
I like them.
Yeah, they're still good.
But it takes a long, yeah.
But the just the comments that I get from those, and it's got the most thumbs down of anything. I mean, just people are just more, the shorts kind of people. The TikTok group is more kind of like the fractured mind, kind of like irritable sort of things like that sometimes. So I don't know. I don't know if the shorts are worth it.
Been a couple of good questions.
Has there? Yeah. How can you even read them? Oh, Mish, what's up, my friend?
Because I'm not
Says,
talking.
hi, Nate and Jenny. Just finished planting sweet and Irish potatoes. Tomato, basil, and onions next. Vikings guidance is priceless. Thank you very much, my friend. Yes. Let's see here. You said sweet potatoes and, man, all these. And Irish potatoes, tomato, basil, onions. Definitely. So I think though did we determine that you can do intermediate day onions right? I forget exactly where you were on that line, because remember, if you're in the South, if you plant short day onions, you have to do it over the winter time. Yeah. So Ms. P says, Nate, I have an entire notebook filled up from transcribing your video lessons. Wonderful. That's what it's all about. And then you got the knowledge.
Making me look bad.
Yeah.
I don't have that.
No, she'll just ask over and over and over and over and over. And that's fine. Because I never tire talking about this kind of stuff. Sharon from Southern Indiana. Hello, my friend. Thanks for these live videos. When do you plant squash and zucchini, and how do you deal with squash bugs? That's a big question right there. Okay, so when do you plant squash and zucchini? Squash and zucchini like it hot. So they want the temperature, they want the weather to be, did I miss I did. Okay, let me get back to it real quick. DNT $5. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, yo, Nate and team, is there a backpack sprayer you would recommend? I heard some leak, and thanks for all you do. I would have to show you, I would have to get the link because I don't know it by name. I know the one I use and that I like, but I will have to put the link in the description. So check back on this video later, okay? So I would have to put that in there, yeah, because I noticed I missed one. So, and also last week I missed Bob Cat. Bob Cat had a $25 donation, so I wanted to say thank you very much. I only saw it after the fact, and I was like, whoa. So yeah. Now let me finish that question about the zucchini and the squash. When do you plant them? They like it hot. So after the last frost date is when you want to plant them. And you always direct seed zucchini and squash. You will still get a plant. If you want to transplant it, you will still get a plant, but it won't be as bountiful. Okay, squash and zucchini, melons, cucumbers, they want to be direct seeded. Okay, because they will put up those two big leaves, and they will use the energy of the sun. Those are like their solar panels, and they will put down tons of roots to see how big and how nutrient rich the environment is. And then that will signal to the plant how big and bountiful it can get. And so that is why we want to direct sow them. And so if we transplant them, they'll still get something, but they won't be nowhere near as bountiful.
My zucchini and squash plants were 4 feet tall in that horse manure that we used.
Mm-hmm.
They were monsters.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even need that many, and they were prolific.
Yeah, yeah, they definitely were.
Yeah.
Tons of them. And remember, however many zucchini plants you think you need, cut it in half,
Yeah.
and that's how many you need.
It's just like they're like they should be called the infinite plant.
Oh man, definitely. They are the plant. Christian Murray, what? What's up, brosif? My brother's in the chat.
Whoa.
What are you guys doing? Christian. I've never even, I don't,
Yeah, I was
like,
like,
Christian,
for a minute,
who
I
is
was
this
like,
person?
who's
I
that?
know, I was like, who is this? Yeah. No, we call them L's. Let's see. Where is, okay, did I miss another one? Okay. Yeah, okay,
No,
D&T,
that was
got
it.
that one. No, there was this other one that was 20. Yeah, okay, Nate Kolar, $20. Thank you very much, my friend. He says, thank you for all the great info. Yes, you are very
Aw.
welcome. Anything that you guys um, Sandy says, Nate is so nice. Oh, thank you. See, I told you.
I
RJ,
never say a bad
committed.
word about you.
No, she
Or
never
think
does.
a bad word about you.
Yeah, never. Bobcat, love you, thank you. All right, Sandy, thanks for sharing
Oh,
the
yeah.
love. The Lawn Care Nut channel has several, it's called the Lawn Care Nut, has several backpack sprayer vids. Everything you need to know. All right,
Oh,
not a problem.
cool.
Yeah, I
Wanna
used to
share?
use a lot more backpack sprayers when I was in Northern California and I had all these greenhouses and I was the head person in charge of all of it. Was that every night I would go through, I'd be foliar in them. I give them all kinds of teas and all kinds of stuff, you know. But man, I had to get the right kind, and oh man, and some of them you have to pump so hard, and my left hand or my left arm would just be all pumped up and because I'd have to go through and fill it, you know, one backpack for each greenhouse. But then I found a gas powered one that had a huge backpack on it, and that was where it was at, like, for a while, you know. But then I didn't like the noise, so then I tried a battery powered one and stuff, and just well. So yeah, there's lots of different kinds. Bingster says, I'm getting ready to separate my onion. I'm getting ready to separate my onion seedling. I was wondering if it hurts to trim the long roots or should I just let them alone? The roots, no, there's no need to trim them. You can, but it doesn't hurt it that much. There's no need to trim them like that. So you'll be good, okay? You can just trim the tops. That's all that you really need to trim. Mish the fish, $50. Thank you very much, my friend. You are always so supportive. I appreciate you greatly. Let's see. Fellow Hoosier in Indy Southwest side. Any plants you planted sooner with our early warm weather here? You know, I've learned over the years to just.
Don't take the trick. It's a trick.
It's
a
a trick.
trap.
I know, yeah. Yeah. It feels all warm and everything. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and put them tomatoes out and stuff. And then one just rogue cold night kills everything.
I do it with flowers every year, and it's all I can do. I was down here. We were down at the greenhouses yesterday. I'm like, I'm buying this. I'm buying that,
Yeah,
and
she's
I'm gonna take it home. And no, don't do it.
No, because we still got 4 full weeks before the technical last frost. So, and even if it doesn't frost, it's those nighttime temperatures. The soil hasn't warmed up yet. So, guys, you don't gain a lot by planting early. Okay, but
because they'll just get all, they won't grow fast anyway.
yeah,
It's cold.
and it's all stunted. Yeah, and it's just like, oh, the cold soil. So things like tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, squash, zucchini, and all of those heat loving things, they like to go to the soil and to just be nice and warm. You know, they don't like any of they're not Viking plants, okay? So they don't like any of the cold. They just like that hot sun. And so if you try to plant some really early, like, and then you gotta put row covers over them, and then you gotta put blankets over them when the frost comes and stuff, then you will see that one that you were like all paying so much attention to and stuff, you planted early. If you plant one at the appropriate time, the one planted at the appropriate time is gonna grow right past this one that has been all stunted and stuff, or even if it doesn't grow past, it'll grow as fast. So you don't gain anything. And you just gain a bunch of worry because you're afraid of it, you know. I mean, you see, I mean, how many of you have been out there with blankets and sheets and putting totes over your plants and all that stuff? Oh no, no, no more. Okay. So that being said, though, I have planted already onions, collard greens, mustard greens, cabbages. All of those things have no problem. They can take cold, not a problem. Okay, so you can plant all that stuff. Remember that though, that there's most people think that they can't plant anything up until their last frost date, and that's not true. So they go, well, we have to wait till Mother's Day because where we're at, it's May 15th is the last frost, give or take. So it's always kind of known, well, you just wait till Mother's Day to plant. And that's what a lot of people think, but you don't have to. You can plant the cold hardy stuff a month before the last frost day. I planted stuff before I left. Onions, collard greens, all the greens can take it. Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Ooh,
Hail.
that's right. Ms. P says, yeah, plus spring storms can bring battering hail. Yeah, all that stuff can be true. Red beets, absolutely. You can plant red beets. Red beets will take a frost, no problem. Green onions take a frost. There's actually more plants that will tolerate frost than not. So, as far as vegetables and stuff, most flowers though they need the heat. Maurice says, I am living in Jacksonville, Florida. At nights, it's in the 50s, but during the day in the 80s. Would my okra be okay? I think so. I don't have a lot of experience with okra. You know, she really likes okra.
I love it. I'm growing a whole field of it this year. I forgot when you asked that question.
Yeah.
I love okra.
Yeah.
I think it'll be fine with that temperature.
Yeah. I mean,
It definitely loves the heat, but 50 is okay.
oh, totally. Anything will grow. Anything will grow in 50s at night and 80s in the day. Yes, you can plant that for sure. It will not be a problem. SC, good to see you here, my friend. Says hello to you all from friendly Manitoba. Still here, Nate. Haven't missed a video. Snow still here on the ground. All right. So at least you're here. And you're salivating for the day when the frost will leave. The frost giants will recede and you can go ahead and plant.
Oh, someone conferred.
Yeah, someone conferred. Buddha says in Jacksonville, okra should be fine from here on out for sure. Okra is awesome, RJ. Yeah, it's just so funny because it's the only plant that I don't like.
Actually, she's got some canned okra here, which is really nice. That's not my favorite. I love it fresh. I freeze it. She's also got the dried pods are really beautiful too. Like for all you people that like to make flower arrangements and things like that, they're really cool.
Dried pods.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a fig tree or a fig bush that is outside.
We were here last year.
Oh man, we were here last year at the very tail end.
Yeah.
And it was just yielding, but the fresh figs. Oh man, if I lived in this climate, the very first thing I would do is plant a dozen fig trees, fig shrubs, because these things are just amazing. They're not quite as good canned. I mean, but they're still, you're preserving the nutrients over the wintertime. So, well, I mean, they're nowhere near as good canned as they are fresh. Fresh is just unbelievable, man. Taida asked what your favorite way to prepare okra is.
I just put it in the pan with a little butter. And my favorite way is to get some chili sauce, like chili paste, and I put the chili paste in it. That's my favorite way. I eat it like that all the time. Yeah, just lightly, soften it up. It's for any of you who haven't grown okra before, you've got to pick them when they're very fresh because you cannot eat them. If they go to a certain point, they are tough and you can't. So you'll have a tendency, you'll want to think like, I'm going to let them grow bigger. Nah, just cut them off and they just keep going. You just cut them off. The next day it'll come out. There's more. They keep going and they keep getting taller and taller.
She says, I've only had it in gumbo and wasn't a fan.
Yeah, I mean, it's that texture. It's slimy a little bit. People think it's slimy. I just actually love it. I don't know.
Big Wheel Dog says, I have kohlrabi, celery, radish, carrots planted, but turnips never turn out for me. Any tips?
Ooh, I got some big turnips in my horse manure last year. I mean, big. They were huge.
Were they still edible? Or were they still tender enough?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, for the most part, the thing with the turnips is you want to have the even moisture. So if you've ever grown like daikon radish, they are going to want the similar things, the turnips. Although they like the cold more than they like the heat. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe it's too hot, you're planting it too late. So turnips can take cold. So yeah, that's what
Yeah, the
I would
plants
say.
are
Just
so beautiful.
make sure that your soil is rich in organic matter and nutrients, and therefore it is bursting with life, and then it will have everything that you need. And remember to keep all of your garden soil covered. We always want to keep it covered, okay? With mulches, leaves, grass clippings, all of this kind of stuff, even landscaping fabric. It's all good. It's all, and it helps to keep everything moist.
That was my epic fail on my potatoes. Um, I didn't get the potatoes covered after the plants came up. And so my yield wasn't that great. One, because of weeds, and two, because a lot of them turned green because they were exposed to the sun. So that was very important. I knew that at the time, and I thought, well, I'll get a few. It'll be okay. But no, it's not worth it. You cover them up, and then it's done. It takes an hour to cover them up, and then you're done. And then everything turns out beautifully. So I learned.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, and even through the landscaping fabric, potatoes can grow. I mean, through the holes, they'll seek out the light and they will grow up through that. But whatever you got to do to exclude the light, and then remember, that's actually why we hill potatoes, because there's only a couple of varieties of potatoes that are actually going to grow more potatoes up the vine. But for the most part, all the ones that are commercially available are the determinate type that only grow potatoes on the same level that you plant the original tuber. But they will want to push up a little bit, and the organic material, like in her case, the horse manure, it breaks
Packs
down, and then as soon as it's exposed to light, they're pretty much ruined. So that's why we want to keep it. But I did tell her,
You
of
did.
course,
Several times.
yeah, several times. Make sure you get a big thing of straw, get a couple bales of straw, and sprinkle the straw over it.
I got plenty of potatoes, but not as many as I could have gotten, and
Yeah.
they were smaller ones, which is okay too.
Yeah. Ghost Dog says, question, will green potatoes mess with the composter or worms? No, not at all. They will love it. But just make sure that you chop it up a few times first, because it might just try to grow. They'll start growing, So, Mom Computer, hello, good to see you here. Says, YouTube is messing with everyone, not necessarily you. Some have had all their subscribers vanish. That'd be terrible. Yeah, well, guys, if we have all my subscribers vanish, or if anything ever happened to the channel, you can rest assured I will immediately begin another channel of some kind. It will probably be garden somewhat like a Viking, or I don't know. Yeah, it'll be garden like a boss, something like that. Yeah, but you can rest assured, because this is what I'm doing in life from now on, for sure. So no matter what happens. El Siu says, thanks for the tip and the ground cover. I'm going to clear my deep bedding from the chicken house, and that'll be great mulch for our raised bed potatoes. Absolutely, man. That's going to be really good.
Yep.
So you can use that as the deep mulch, and potatoes love that. And also the mulch, one of the biggest things that it does is it keeps the soil evenly moist. So it keeps it from drying out too much or getting too wet. But mostly drying out, and so it's really good, and it keeps it from getting too hot. And as we are coming into the yeah, that is really cool. It's super heavy. If you felt it, it's like 5 pounds. It feels like.
That's why I'm so
Oh yeah, but the what are they talking about? The mulch, the deep mulch is that's actually one of the number one things that people mess up on, is that they let their root zone get too hot. So as we're moving into summertime, you have to understand that no plants, for the most part, there's a couple, but most plants do not like burning hot roots. And so if you've got a raised bed or something, even those aluminum type tall beds, and the sun's just beating down on it, cooking the roots, or your stuff, your grow bags, if you have to have something in place so that they're shaded out, and they're getting a somewhat consistent supply of water. So that is important, because none of the plants are going to want the hot roots. And so that's what most people, or a lot of people, when they say, man, it just didn't do well. The plants were stunted. They didn't get really that big, or they didn't do that much. It's because the root zone was baking hot. Yeah. And so that's a big thing that the mulch will help to go against. Big Will Dog says, I have amended soil plot with both homemade compost and leaf molds, so turnips grow nice and green, but no nice bulbs. Okay. Do you put, maybe there's too much nitrogen in there. Maybe you have some kind of, is that it? Just compost and leaf mold? Because it seems like that should really, also, if you plant them too close together, they won't bulb. Also, if it gets too hot, they won't want to bulb as much. So those can be factors as well. Let's see. Atheniel says, free mulch if you have a lawnmower. Dry the grass out evenly in the sun. Yes, that can work. Dry grass clippings are really good mulch. So long as the people don't poison their yard with a bunch of broadleaf herbicides and stuff. Like my mom, she poisons she gets it sprayed by True Green Company.
Right now.
Because I got to call her out in public space.
I guess. So she'll stop.
Yeah. So do you hear me?
Did
You hear me, Mom? Watch. She's going to call me.
I know.
I'm going to say, oh, I'm busy.
Yeah.
I'm busy, Mom. Don't bother me. But yeah, because all that stuff that is designed to keep the why what? So
why is she spraying?
oh right, yeah, why she's spraying the lawn? Exactly, I know, because she wants it to be, not just all thick, luscious green without any dandelions in there, because that's what's been implanted in people's mind. Is that that's what's desirable from all the advertisements on HGTV and stuff, is that that gets into the mind, into the subconscious, and they think that that's what's desirable. But that's the worst, because
I'm
What are
gonna
you trying
fry
to
up
say?
all these dandelions out here.
Ooh,
all
yeah.
these, and I'm gonna fry them up for the kids.
that'd
Yeah.
be good. Yeah, the kids love
We
that.
put them in some egg and with some spices, and it's so good.
Oh yeah, and I love the look of dandelions. When they're
They're
flowers
so
that are
pretty.
blooming, and then there's those things growing flying around all over them. I love
And you
that
can
stuff.
eat them. I mean,
Yeah.
what the heck?
Yeah, and they are like the first color of spring. It's just fantastic. And let's see, just me, $50. Thank you very much, my friend.
Wow.
Yes, I appreciate your support and your wonderful family. Beautiful family, yes.
Is
And
that
treating us just like one of them, man. It's fantastic. It's such a pleasure to do work with good people that you really, you feel the genuine heart and all of this. Oh, man.
And it's really the way that we're doing it, the system we're using is really going to be really cool to watch it and share that, because it's going to be a really, really low maintenance. I mean, it took a lot of work the way we did it. I think there's easier ways to do it.
Yeah, the most labor intensive. Yeah, it didn't have, well,
It's a long story.
Yeah,
You'll see
yeah.
it all on a video.
yeah, you'll see it.
But yeah, just knowing they're going to have success, it's just going to be tremendous and inspiring for everybody else to do it this way. I think, especially if you have a big family, and you're busy with life and things.
Yeah, definitely. That's a big thing that is for this. There's like 6 kids, and
And they've got a business.
they have a business, and there's not the time to be
And
out
she
there.
homeschools the kids, by the way. I've wanted to do a YouTube channel on her amazingness, because she drives the trucks for the business. She cooks all the food. She's a tremendous mother figure.
Yeah.
I
And dude,
love being around her.
Dude, these kids are so well behaved. People would not even believe me.
So loving, so cool, so
oh, man.
outdoorsy.
Oh yeah, just so grounded, down to earth. No one's on screens or anything like that here. It's really good. It's the kind of energy that you want to help promote, and you want to help be a part of,
Yeah.
and you want to help proliferate.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, man, we can definitely come up with a way that you can grow food with very little work input. Now that all the heavy lifting's done and stuff, this is just going to, the only thing left once we plant it is going to be to harvest, basically.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any weeds, and it's
No
going to last a
watering.
long time. No watering, none of that kind of stuff. Because that's the thing, man, with people, they have kids and stuff like that, and they have big dreams, and we're
Yeah.
going to have a big garden and stuff.
You want
And
that.
they'll till the stuff up, And at first, yeah, they'll hoe the rows and everything, but then they'll go away for a few days, or one time it'll get out from under them, and then all of a sudden the garden is just boom, all weeds. The whole thing's just weeds. And then it's like overwhelming, and then you don't even want to look out there. That's not, it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. Some people like that though. Some people love, they have the time to be out there in the garden, weeding and hoeing, and they like that. And that's totally fine. And that's wonderful. But some people just want to grow the food or just want to have the food, you know, and they don't have the time. They would like to, but they just don't have the time to be out there pulling weeds every day and all that stuff. So for those kind of people, we have this system, which I'm going to make a video on it, and it's not a conventional system, but it's going to work very well. There's no doubt. LSU, $5. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate your support. Taida says, we homeschooled our two. Now they are helping me get started with quail and gardens. Finally getting started after years of military green yards. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. So you're probably real excited to get growing the good stuff, huh? Let's see here. Denise. Oh, my mom is on here. She says, Bub, not cool. Shout out to the luscious green lawn lovers. Sorry, Mom.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yep.
You do, you, Denise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I just have to use you as an example, though. It was nothing personal. Don't worry about it.
He does it to me all the time.
No, even though I've been saying that for years. But see, so she heard me. So wild, let's see here. Wild bees just made a nest next to my porch. Ooh,
Oh,
yeah, that's
lucky.
cool. Yeah, lucky. Jen Fari, my lawn right now has a lot of moss roses. I think they are so pretty. A yard of yellow. Nice. Let's see here. It's the way. The moldy bread good for anything? Is moldy bread good for anything in the garden? I would go ahead and compost it. Absolutely. You can put moldy bread into the compost. But you want to make sure you have a system in line so that it's not, so that it's not attracting rodents. You know?
Dandelion seeds.
Dandelion. Oh, I know.
Someone have to buy those.
I know.
Do they sell those?
I saw that in Baker Creek. Yeah, they sell dandelions, but I think it's like a special type. It has to be because, I mean, there's
Yeah, I'll
dandelions
have to look into
everywhere.
that, 'cause
Yeah, it's the dandelions. I've seen them. It's the dandelions you grow for the greens. Like the dandelion greens that you see in like the store. Those are
yeah.
not just
yeah,
dandelions.
the
Like
jagged edged leaves.
yeah, and they grow so much more foliage, and they grow of a different. It's different. So those type are not just the type that are out in the lawn, you know. But let's see here. Tea, coffee, I use it all. Yes, definitely. Becky, or no, who was it? Kim says, I got my first beehives this week. All right, that's going to be really cool. I want to see that.
Send some honey.
Yeah,
this
definitely,
way.
man.
We love honey.
See, and dandelions are edible. Oh man. A homesteader friend of mine told me the other day to batter them and deep fry them in flour. She also grinds the roots and makes wine.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
dandelion.
They're so delicious. You just take the petals, you take the green, as much green off as you can, but if you have it in there, it still tastes good. And you put a little flour and some spices, salt and pepper, and whatever other spices. I can't remember what I use. Whatever I have.
Nate Collar, $20. Didn't you already give me $20, my friend? That's super nice of you. I appreciate that. Says, how do you deal with flea beetles? Okay. So flea beetles can be difficult. You can deal with them in a number of ways, though. There's one aspect that you just have to make a little bit of peace with them because they are, I mean, in the natural system, you just have to make a little bit of peace with them. But at the same time, we utilize the Jerusalem artichoke pesticide. So if you watch the video that I made about the Jerusalem artichoke pesticide, we will utilize that one. We also utilize the one that I'll be making a video about here coming up. I'll be making a video about the slugs, but this can also work for the flea beetles. Okay, so it's going to do a number of different things, and this is going to involve the garlic in a certain way and a couple of the other ingredients, and you'll see. But flea beetles, yeah, They can be tough, but they don't last all season. So even if you see the damage, it's going to be somewhat short-lived. Yeah. So yes, make the Jerusalem artichoke. Make sure that you have the JWA. Okay, you've made the wedding agent. I made a video about that as well, and then I will show you in the upcoming video about slugs. You can also use it for flea beetles. Okay, also for cabbage worms, also for aphids, also for mites, also for many different things. So yeah. Let's see here. Uncle Charlie says Southerners will deep fry anything. Man, we kind of felt that too when we were in the swamps in South Arkansas.
Everything was fried. They've got big setups to do it outside with propane tanks, and you probably saw it. I don't know in
Yeah.
the videos, but
Yeah,
fry
frying stuff,
everything.
and they eat anything. Or I mean, they eat just like all the creatures from the swamp and from all over the place. So that's pretty cool. And he's like, yeah, I caught this one kind of fish. I tried to eat it, but it wasn't very good.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, man, that's
Yeah,
cool
they
though.
try everything.
Yeah, try to eat it. I like that kind of life. Mick, $20, my friend. I appreciate you.
Aw.
So you are in the Colorado. You still got the snow. How are your winter sown things going? I saw your pile of compost. It looks pretty fungal dominant, or kind of. I mean, as much as compost can be. But I saw the mycelium in there, so that's good. Definitely. And I'll be showing you guys how to make some good compost teas this upcoming year, because remember, we want to have as varied repertoire as possible. So up until now, we've been all about the J-Dom, which is fantastic, and it works fantastic, and it's simple, and it's just awesome, in every way. But I also want to show, because there's so many other things that I've used over the years that are also very beneficial. So we will be doing some aerated compost teas over on the channel and stuff. So it all starts with making the good compost. That's what it all starts with. The higher the quality of the compost, the higher the quality of the tea will be. And we'll add some other things I'll show you. And so, yeah, it's just going to be great. There's so many things we can do. And so much things are effective.
There's a fruit tree.
Fruit tree question? Let's see. Sir Richard says, best fish to use for homemade fish fertilizer. It doesn't really matter. The best fish is ocean fish. So if you can get the ocean fish, that's the best. But if you can't, then whatever kind of fish, because it's the fish proteins that we need. It's the flesh. So you will see me and Rusty Reed, the turtle man, when I get back, we're going to go spearing for some of the invasive carp. And so he's got canoes, we're going to lash two of them together and then go down. We used to do it when I was a kid, and I have good, fond memories of this. So we're going to do it again. I was like, hey, Rusty, do you still spear those carps and stuff? He's like, yeah, we can do it. I said, yeah, let's do it. Because I want to show you guys how to make FAA, which is fish amino acids, which is, it's a KNF input, and it takes a long time. But once we make it, then we just forget about it, and it's a very high quality input. And it's much thicker and more concentrated than the J-Dom fish fertilizer, and then the hydrolysate, it's more concentrated than all that. It's real nice and thick. So I want to show you guys how to make that. And so for that, we're going to go spearing the carp. So it doesn't really matter so much what kind of fish you get. Okay, it can just be bone, well, it can be carcasses, what's left after you eat the fillets. It can be all that stuff. Sandy says Huck Finn style. Yeah, absolutely, just eating whatever. Link says that's what I'm doing, gardening somewhat like a Viking. Garden somewhat like a Viking. I know. Yeah, I like that. Garden mostly like a Viking. PA 150. Wow, what types? What zone? Oh, Jenny, hello, I see you. Jenny Simon. And winter sowing is about a month behind yours, but doing well. Okay, not a problem. See, that's the thing about winter sowing is as long as you've still got a couple of weeks left and stuff, it's going to be fine because the seeds will know when the right time to sprout up is. And that is when you will plant them. As you saw from my video, you will just separate the whole bunch like that. Basil works really well. The video was cilantro, but also basil works really well. Also, there's a number of different things that can really tolerate that kind of planting. You can even do cabbages and stuff like that, but what's best to do in my experience, I mean, you can winter sow everything, and there are many people that winter sow everything. peppers, tomatoes, all that stuff, if they don't have an indoor setup. But it's really most ideal for things that can be planted in groups, like herbs and stuff like that. Also, I've done it for collard greens and things like that, or spinaches, lettuces, all of that kind of stuff. So, okay, guys, whoa, 94 minutes already, man. Wow, look at that. Just time flies when you're having fun. So, if anyone has any burning questions, better get them out. And Ms. P, I like to listen to the music of birds, song accompanied by bees buzzing. Oh man, that's like the best. Yeah, that's what I really like about being out here right now is that we wake up and well, besides the rooster, besides that though, it's just the nice birds start chirping. I can kind of hear.
Two hawks flying around together, talking to each other. It's mating season.
Yep.
Yeah,
So they're
'cause
getting
that's
all rowdy.
very unusual to see the hawks together.
Yeah, and this hawk. Yep, and so it's really nice out here in the fog. It was really foggy this morning, and it was real great. Okay, let's see. Planted 1 foot cherry tree last week, and its leaves are dying. It's not dry? Yeah, Uncle Charlie says that. So yeah, the fruit trees can have a real transplant shock, and so that can happen when you plant it. It can have a shock into its new environment. Now you can ease that shock by applying a diluted solution of the JMS. Also, the compost extract that is going to work really good to. Do you grow cannabis? You must be new to the channel. But anyways, no, I don't anymore. God no. But in the past, yes. So the compost extract is what you're going to want to use for that. So when you transplant it, you want to make the extract and then fertilize or water it in real good. Also, you want to put some mulch around the tree, and so that is going to give it the easiest time transitioning. But if you just plop it out of it, especially if you get it from like the box stores, guys, they abuse those things. I don't know if you see them, but they abuse them as far as
They don't. Neglect is a better word.
yeah, definitely. And to where they're just dry in the bone dry, blazing sun and all that. So you can get that, and it's just like, it came from a greenhouse wherever it was grown up, and then it came into the box store, and it just is like been abused, and then now you get it, so it's going to be shocked, but you can expect that.
I mean, back in the day when I was landscaping my yard, I don't know, 15, 16 years ago, I would get the kind of shocked plants and bring them all home and nurse them basically, like a little nursery. And I had a lot of success with that, but you got to really baby them. And I was on a budget, so, that was like the only thing I could do then. And I had some success with a lot of those box store broken down plants, reviving them, the bushes and things like that, perennials. So if you've got the time and the love for the plants, I always felt like I was like taking them and saving them, like, let's get you out of here.
Should I use citrus peels in my worm bins? Typically, they don't like citrus peels. You can put citrus peels in your compost, no problem. But in your worm bins, they don't really like citrus that much. So no. If you're trying to raise the level of, if you're trying to multiply the worms, or if you're trying to get the castings and all that stuff, they don't like citrus as much.
Did you ask them that question? And they were like, look, mate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I've had a talk with them.
Yeah.
And yeah, they told me they prefer wheatgrass flats. Yeah. Yeah, they're like, look, we got to have a talk.
Listen.
No, I just know that because I pull out the citrus peels, and there's no worms in them, and they take the longest to break down because the worms aren't in them. But then when I pull out things like cabbages, it's infested with worms. Watch the video I just made about compost, and you will see a couple of the things. I just peel back one of the wheatgrass flats, crawling with worms. So yeah. Okay, guys, let's see. Ms. P says, Nate, the questions being asked on this live would make a good basis for future videos. I know you can't get to every question in this format. Right.
Yeah, it's super hard. They're just coming.
Yeah, I totally can't get to everyone. But guys, you can ask them in the comments section and stuff. And if it's, if you have like well, yeah, you can just ask in the comments section, and then I can try and get to it. And if I think that there's enough content and enough interest in a certain thing, then I can make a video about it. You know, if enough people would have that question, then it would make sense to make a video. So yeah, and you guys can email me at gardenlikeaviking@gmail about if you need to show me pictures or something like that, or if you have a business thing, if you want garden consultation, I can do it through Zoom or I can do it in person, depending on logistics. If you but if you have like a garden related question, put it in the comments section of the videos, okay? And if you guys, like one person mentioned my name down there to speak at the Baker Creek Seed Festival or whatever it was. I said, yeah, that would be very cool. I definitely would do that. I would love to do that. I would go there and speak there for sure about whatever they want. So yeah, anything like that, you know, you guys can keep your ears open, and that would be great. And check out the Garden Like a Viking Instagram account where I'm posting reels and stuff all the time. I'm posting all kinds of little things to my story now, just because of just things I'm doing throughout the day. Little tips about like this cover crop and all this stuff. So you can check that out. And
also, if you're new to the channel, there are tons of videos. So if you have a question that didn't get answered, go back and look and see if there's already a video.
Yeah.
There's tons of information.
Yeah, tons of information. And Miss Jenny has a channel.
I do. I have Tarot Like a Viking.
Yeah, clever name. Clever name.
Well, you know, we talked and
and we thought it's a good name.
It's a good
Clever name.
No, I'm a Viking too.
Yeah,
You can't just
definitely. No, there's no doubt about that. Garden Like an Emerald Triangle Viking. Man, that's a great.
Ooh.
That's really good. Yeah,
Wow.
the Emerald Triangle. Yep,
Wow.
I've definitely been there. Yep. Except there they called us the Camo Cowboys a little bit more. But anyways, Nate said you can slow compost anything. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. When is a good time to bury the potatoes? I'm in zone 7. Good time to bury the potatoes is 2 weeks before your last frost date. So if they're well chitted, so if you take the potatoes, place them in a sunny place or under a grow light for about a week to 2 weeks until they form nice stout chits on them, then you can plant them about 2 weeks before the last frost. Because if if the foliage catches a frost, it will die. So, but the tuber probably won't because it's underground. It'll just set back the growth by several weeks. So you really no more than 2 weeks before your last frost. Okay. And so that's pretty much it, my friends. I think we are coming to a close. So thank you very much for everything. And we're going to continue with the wonderful garden installation here in Chattanooga.
We got a lot of work to do.
Yep, we got a lot of work to do. And I'm going to be doing, on the way, once we leave here, I'm going to be doing a collab with a certain prepping channel, I think. And so at least we said that we were going to do this. So I'm going to hit them up and see. And so I'm not sure the format of how I'm going to do it. If I'm going to do a special live or if I'm going to make an actual video about it, I'm not sure. But it's all going to be good information that you guys can check out as well. Yes. So I will see you guys next week at same time, 12 noon Eastern time on next Saturday. Also, I'm doing a live on Mondays on my other channel, Nate Murray, at 12 noon. And we talk about all different kinds of stuff. And then in 2 weeks, or well, as soon as I get back, actually, so like later this week, we're going to start the Master Cleanse. So if any of you guys want to do the Master Cleanse for the first time, we're going to be starting it so we can do it together, which would be really cool. So yeah, it's a good time to get cleansed, my friends. Okay? Goodbye.